Well, Anil Pant now joins us. Let's understand the way forward for Aptech. It's been a comeback stock of last 1 year, up more than 100%. But at a time when in general there is a high wage inflation in the industry, is Aptech also feeling the heat? Now that things are normalizing on the cost front, on the real estate front, the drop in margins, what they've reported for the quarter gone by, is that the new normal for Aptech? Anil, fantastic to have you back. Thank you for joining us. Top line up 10%, but margins have gone down by 840 bips, nearly 8.5%. Now that's a big drop. Why is that?
So Anuj, there are about three reasons for that. One, we've started investing in our online initiative, ProAlley. The second is an increase in salaries, which was instituted in October. And the third, very important reason has been because of the change in accounting policy that we've initiated from April 1 this year, where we are looking at moving into the accrual system of accounting. This does 4 or 5 things for us. At a broad level, it helps us to engage more deeply with the student. We own the student completely. It leads to better control on the network and quality of delivery of the education. It eases out the seasonality of numbers that have been plaguing Aptech for the last about 8-10 years. And at the end of the day, whatever numbers you see going down will eventually get reflected in the next 4 quarters. So, when you accrue income, but you recognize only that part of the income which is valid for the delivery of services to the student. The organization.
Confusion. The name is Nikunj. I know, sometimes muscle memory can fail, but yeah, the name is Nikunj. In case you missed that.
Sorry. I'm sorry, Nikunj. Sorry.
How has the normalization happened? How has the normalization happened now that centers are opening up, now that students have started coming back, now that you don't have to train everybody online?
So Nikunj, as of December, we had reached almost about 85% of pre-COVID levels in terms of performance. And when I talk about 85%, you've got to look at it. We have 3 distinct businesses: domestic, international, and institutional. The domestic business, we've reached about 85% of pre-COVID levels. International business is at about 93% of pre-COVID levels. And the institutional business is actually ahead of pre-COVID levels. Now, as the normalization increases, so right now, as we speak, obviously we are back in a complete lockdown mode. All education institutes, including institutes like ours, are in shutdown mode, and we are back on our digital platform, maintaining student delivery. But as this wave ends, and I believe that things are already improving in Bombay and Delhi. We're in touch with the authorities. They are saying that things should be back to normal by mid-February, and things are going to just become better and better for us. As the unlocked trade, so to speak, pans out.
Good morning. So, you have done various things of late, for example, the online EdTech initiative also that you had announced. But, you'd also said in December 2021 that you're looking to expand 3 times to size and 10 times in 5 years. Can you tell us more about this, how exactly you're going to do it?
I had also talked, when I said that, I had told you that it is clearly based on the number of jobs that are available, right? And if you look at the number of jobs that are available in the spaces that we are present in, it is only increasing every quarter. And as we move forward, a combination of our remote delivery model, in the center model, and the complete EdTech model will lead to this growth.
There's a lot that's happening around the animation space, cloud, gaming. Whether it's that Microsoft mega $68 billion deal or what the likes of Nazara are trying to do back home. You have Arena. Tell us more about what's happening, because that's a really hot space right now. Just look at the kind of capital that's flowing in and the way it's in demand and being picked up.
So when we talk to the recruiters who are from the gaming industry, you need to understand what is the kind of profile of people that they employ. They employ animators, they employ visual artists, visual effects artists, they employ game designers, and they employ game technicians. Now, in each of these space, when we talk to the recruiters, they say that the only thing holding us back is the availability of talent. And we are one of the largest suppliers of talent to this, to the entire animation, VFX, and gaming industry. I mean, it's actually a fantastic space to be in, because the number of jobs is at least about 2.5, 3 times bigger than the number of students that we have. Our expectation is that once things go back to normal, and once people actually begin to realize that there is a credible career in the space of animation, VFX, and gaming, there should be an explosion in the numbers around this space. The second space, which is again doing very well, is in the space of IT talent globally. I mean, India is not an exception. There are there's a lot of requirement that keeps coming to us from companies saying that, hey, we need people in this space, we need people in big data, we need people in AI, we need people in IoT, we need people in agile, we need full stack developers. And the way I see it, once this scare around the lockdown ends, we're going to sort of see an explosion in numbers.
When we speak to a lot of the startups and the unicorns, they also talk about this one gap that actually exists, which is to do for the experience on the apps or the user experience, and that's to do with the product guys. Is that finally being addressed?
Not really. UIUX has always been an area of concern in any of the IT companies in India. I mean, somehow or the other, as a country, the number of UIUX jobs is probably 10 times the number of people who actually come out with the UIUX skill sets. And the best skill sets on UIUX are still out of the country. It's something that is still a massive need in the country.
Anil, I'm going to take a leaf of what our understanding of your communication is, which is that you are looking at selling the institutional business of Aptech. These are good times because we know that there is a boom in the sector. Are you anywhere close to selling the institutional the testing business?
So, Nikunj, we've not really got a credible buyer for this business yet. And the business has been performing extremely well in the last about 2 or 3 quarters. Now, just yesterday, we actually informed the exchanges that the strategic committee made a recommendation to the board that we should relook at whether we want to go ahead with our decision to sell, because we're not getting a credible buyer. And the board has asked for some more details, which will be given to the board in the next few days. And in its next meeting, it's going to finally decide on whether this business will be reinstated as a continued business or whether we stick to our decision of selling it. Because in terms of a lack of credible buyer, obviously it's a good business. We don't want to lose any value that we can get out of it.
And I'm just trying to understand the big picture, which is that we know these are boom times in the IT industry. And I remember your specific comment last time that IT companies are saying that the talent crunch is so high that even trespassers will be recruited. That is the kind of crunch we have in the IT industry. Are your students, in this case, I'm not using the word customer, I'm using the word students here because they are students. Are they finding jobs in the top 10 IT companies? Are you training talent which in a sense can now be absorbed or is getting placed with the dream firms?
So at a global level, I'll just share a small snippet with you, Nikunj, on this. In the IT space, Indian IT services company wanted to set up shop in Vietnam, which is one of our largest markets for IT. And they made offers to our students. And our students declined those offers because they were getting much higher salaries in other companies. So, I mean, I would go with the assumption that people are making much more salaries than what the typical dream so-called our Indian IT companies are offering in our student community. You know, whether it's Nigeria, whether it's Vietnam, whether it's Qatar, whether it's, I mean, people are getting placed very well.
Is a firm like Aptech or NIT the solution for this current IT talent crunch? Or do you think that traditional hiring in India will still go to engineering colleges? I'm asking one question because if you feel that institutes like Aptech and NIT can be the new large talent pool for can they be replaced by engineering graduates? Let me put it this way.
So Nikunj, that's a very good question that you've put up. And from what I see in my interaction with the leaders of large Indian IT companies, they're actually looking at people from traditionally courses like BSc Information Technology, BSc Computer Science, Bachelor of Computer Application, Master of Computer Application. Some companies in the lower end services space are looking at students who've finished their 12th and are looking at a career, to start earning money, to look at the low end IT services, which is a traditional services model where, you do maintenance of computers and stuff like that. So that is happening in a very, very big way. Now, whether we or NIT are a part of it, I mean, I can't speak for NIT, but in the next 2 quarters, we should probably be announcing our foray into this in a big way.
Big foray. We will hopefully get you back on the channel to talk about. For now, Aptech trading higher by almost 2.5%, 408 rupees a share. Thanks a lot for joining us today morning here on The Market. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short commercial break. But stay tuned. A lot more coming up on the other side. We'll also take stock of the big earnings slated for today, HUL as well as Asian Paints. We'll check in with Naveen Kulkarni of Axis Securities.